Hello, everyone. I'm presenting to you BAISAGO Group, and we are going to tackle the contributions of the African Continental Free Trade Area to agriculture and rural development, and we're also focusing on African youths. The following are the group members. There is Akram Jengo, Konzero Akufa, Milemo K, Devin Konde, Kongani, and Alistair Munyowi. Devin, you can take the floor now.
Thank you, Mr. Funziro. The name BAISAGO, which our group took, is a set one award meaning futurist or future-looking people, with bar the suffix meaning people and the sago referring to the future. Moving on to introduction. Well, the African Continental Free Trade Area, or the AFCFTA, is a defined zone free of commerce barriers that was established and implemented in 2018 through to 2019, with its headquarters in Accra, Ghana. The main goal of the AFCFTA is to eliminate trade barriers, both tariff and non-tariff. Through the provision of an internal market for goods and services by the signed-up member states, the African continent's economic integration and prosperity are more easily attained. The initiative for continental integration in Africa's development efforts began in the late 1950s and continued throughout the 1960s. While this began with the formation of the Organization of African Unity, which took up the Lagos Plan of Action in 1980, with the goal of achieving African unity through self-reliance, endogenous growth, and industrialization. The OAU then approved and undertook the Abuja Treaty in 1991, which outlined a progressive approach to regional integration that included the formation of regional economic communities, RECs, as well as the establishment of free trade areas, FTAs, custom unions, and a single market. However, due to the existence of many RECs within similar territories, some countries' REC memberships overlapped. As a result, a tripartite free trade agreement, TFTA, for SADC, COMESA, and EAC member states was established. Subsequently, in January 2012, the Africa Union's estimated area published in 2018, and trading began on January 1st, 2021. Well, this brought together 54 of African Union's 55 member countries. Thank you. Moving on to Ms. Akufa.
Thank you, Devin. Moving on to understanding the African Continental Free Trade Area and the role of African youth. It is very crucial to invest in the youth because they are the custodians of tomorrow. African youth are in charge of the continent's growth and development. Africa is filled with brilliant, determined young entrepreneurs and economically active youths. However, there are a lot of obstacles that they encounter, and these include high unemployment, lack of suitable jobs, barriers to entrepreneurship, lack of access to finance and financial aid, and as well as inadequate promotion of youth-led firms. The African Continental Free Trade Area then came in to solve these challenges that these youths face by offering employment, trainings, and entrepreneurship opportunities. Thank you. Mili, Akram, the floor is now yours.
We are going to, I'm Akram Jengo from Uganda. We are going to look at the contribution of the trade area to agriculture and development. The contributions are categorized into two: have positive contributions and negative contributions. Under positive contributions, we have the increase in exports of agriculture, service, and manufactured goods. According to the Economic Commission for African Findings, African countries' GDP and exports of agricultural commodities, services, and manufactured goods will increase. This increase in exports implies an increase in domestic commodity production, allowing people to participate in exports, which implies an increase in domestic commodity production, allowing people to participate in various economic production activities, hence assisting in the reduction of unemployment and poverty. Furthermore, the reduction of tariffs implies that African countries are free to engage in trade without serious barriers. This is beneficial to the agricultural sector because it encourages farmers to produce high-quality agricultural commodities that can compete on international market. It also stimulates farmers' innovations and leads to formation of farmer cooperatives that can assist rural people in engaging in productive agriculture. Therefore, agricultural production indicates that the majority of rural people are fully engaged in production cycle, resulting in a positive transformation of rural people. Another positive contribution of African Free Trade Area is the increase in African trade. Another contribution shall be the new technologies and innovation. By enhancing worker skills and technologies and implementing new innovation initiatives, the African Continental Free Trade Area contributes to infrastructure improvement. Roads and telecommunication infrastructure play a critical role in connecting production centers to both external and local markets. Infrastructures are critical in this regard, and because the majority of production hubs are located in rural areas, infrastructure development entails the development of rural areas as well. So cross-border trading is becoming more common as a result of these new infrastructures. Moving trade barriers reduces income inequality in agriculture-oriented exporting economies, particularly in African countries. This is because increasing agricultural exports leads to higher income in rural areas, where a huge part of the population lives in poverty. So reduced tariffs on immediate agricultural inputs such as fertilizers, herbicides, and equipment cut farmers' production costs and hence raise their revenue, hence increasing their actual incomes. Furthermore, it lowers production costs, boosts domestic farms, it boosts competitiveness, and allows countries to join global value chains. We shall move on to the next presenter. An illustration of infrastructures. We see roads on our right-hand side, plus some electricity. And we also see some agricultural processing industries on our left-hand side. When implemented, when the African Coded Free Trade Area is implemented, it will lead to the fulfillment of some of the sustainable development goals. For example, goal number 1, no poverty. Goal number 7, affordable and clean energy. And goal number 8, decent work. And goal number 9, industry, innovation, and infrastructure. Goal number 16, peace, justice, and strong institutions. And lastly, partnership for the global goals. However, the African Continental Free Trade Area has some negative contributions. For example, the emission of carbon dioxide to the atmosphere. Since carbon dioxide is regarded as a greenhouse gas, it shall in one way or the other cause to global warming, a phenomenon which is not good at all. Also, deforestation is another negative contribution of African Continental Free Trade Area. This is because most of the forests will be encroached on to set up industries and farms. Therefore, as a result of African Continental Free Trade Area, deforestation can be brought about. Another negative contribution can be sectors may be ignored, for example, education and social programs, which are vital for sustainable development of developing countries. We shall now move on to the policy challenges and options presented by Ms. Millie Monkey.
Thank you, Akram. I will now take you through policy challenges and options, as well as strategies or innovations to address them, and then conclude. The AFCFTA is founded at an opportune time when rural households have grappled with challenges of market access for their produce. And the free trade area is expected to assure African continental connectivity, increase intra-African trade, which is in line with Agenda 2063 goals. The agreement is also to reinforce Africa's worldwide trading position. So through AFCFTA, it is believed that Africa will gain access to global markets, have a common voice and policy space in the global trade platform. However, the institution of AFCFTA, though it brings with it advantageous options, it lands on the reality that there are challenges that may affect its implementation and may threaten the intended end. One such policy challenge is that there is need to create adequate and secure markets for the traded goods and services, which calls for infrastructure development. There is also need to gradually eliminate tariff and non-tariff barriers to investment and trade as opposed to abrupt discontinuation of trade tariffs, as some countries rely on such tariff income to run their economies, which calls for leadership or governance that embraces inclusive stakeholder participation. Also, with extreme poverty at 490 million people in Africa, policy challenge in this regard is to address poverty dynamics and associated food perspectives in rural areas, including breaking the rural poverty trap, which of course is not an easy thing to do because it is complex, it is multifaceted, and may take long. So given policy challenges discussed above or earlier on, we suggest the following strategies or innovations to tackle them. Firstly, institutional innovation or innovation technology. This will address the issue of market infrastructure for the traded goods and services, as well as poverty and food and systems issues. Secondly, innovative holistic development. This will address leadership or governance issues, inclusive participation by all stakeholders. So the other strategy is for the continent to be futuristic, that is forward-looking, drawing from the team name BAISAGO. We learn from the past and look forward. This will address issues of unemployment, poverty, by engaging resource policy reform through human capital development. This is in line with sustainable livelihood framework. So in conclusion, the AFCFTA objectives and anticipated contribution are desirable, as we all read. However, the reality is that such an increased trade openness undoubtedly creates winners and losers. You may agree with that on that one. Also, that potential gains are not automatic, and neither are they sure, in that the agreement may not necessarily translate into all the positives that are alleged. There is need for readiness assessment. There is need also for monitoring and evaluating the agreement implementation process. This is so because countries in the continent are at different economic development stages. Hence, the AFCFTA implementation may affect countries differently. That is in the short run, medium term, and long run. More so, given the current state of institutions and governance. If implored, BAISAGO believes that even though there are these challenges, the strategies that are suggested and the innovations that we've put forward could help the AFCFTA effort. We thank you.